For the YouTube manual reviewer, this is not a how-to. This is educational. There's no gore, no violence, no threats, anything like that. These things are not even firearms. So they only shoot blanks. There's no projectile. It's fine. All magazines are less than 10. All that good stuff. This is not a how-to. Hi folks, welcome back to Craps with Corey. So today's episode is going to be one that I'm not entirely sure will be able to remain on YouTube. Their policy on pew-pews is pretty strict. So this may get deleted, I may get strike, the channel may go down forever. Don't know, but we'll give it a shot. So today's episode is about blank adapting for World War II reenacting. There's probably a lot of videos about blank adapting. Basics of blank adapting. It's for firearms, for semi-automatic firearms or fully automatic firearms. And the basics is you are trying to create enough gas pressure in order to cycle the weapon with a blank. Remember, hopefully we know that blanks don't have any projectiles, all the laws of physics and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, there's a whole lot of details that you can look up on your own. But basically, blank adapting, trying to create enough pressure inside the system with a blank round to cycle the action. How do I want to go about this? Yeah, disclaimers. I am not an expert. I am not certified in anything. This is all self-taught. Do not do this. Okay? Don't do it. If anything, hopefully this video shows you how complicated blank adapting can be, and hopefully encourages you to seek out somebody that does know what they're doing and does have all the fancy certifications and have them do it for you. Hopefully. Yeah, this is definitely one of those episodes. I can't encourage you to do this. Cannot. I am encouraging you not to do this. This is a very dangerous thing. If you don't know, if you don't understand what's going on, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get hurt or killed, or you can kill somebody else. So, giant disclaimer at the beginning of this. Don't do this. Do not try this at home. Don't do this. Find a professional, but hopefully this video, you understand why blank adapting has to be taken so seriously. With reenacting, those looking from the outside may just think, oh, we're just, shooting each other for fun, with blanks, shooting at each other, playing cowboys and Indians. It's a lot more serious than that. Blanks can kill. Blank adapted firearms can easily kill. Insert all manner of accidents that have happened on film sets, especially because people did not treat blank weapons with as much respect as you should treat live fire weapons. So, yeah, don't do this. Hey, so today, just getting into it, I guess, I am going to be blank adapting my replica 1911. So the big thing with semi-autos, and I'm going to talk specifically on pistols, blank adapting in general, has a whole bunch of things. First of all, weapon is empty. There's nothing in the magazine. Okay? Don't yell at me. Oh no, I just did that. It's fine. So specifically with pistols, it is a locked breech action, specifically this one. Some of them are not locked breech, but what that means is that there's an internal locking system that locks the barrel to the slide, so they move together as one. With blank adapting, the 1911, again specifically, just going to talk about the 1911 specifically. With blank adapting the 1911, I basically need to turn this into a blowback pistol. I'm going from a locked breech action to a straight blowback action pistol. Basically defeating all the locking mechanism in this. Sounds scary. It can be scary, unless you know what you're doing. So, with pistols, what I'm going to do with this is I actually have a spare barrel that I'm going to be working on and modifying instead of the one that comes with the pistol. So, let's take a look at the barrel that I've got. Okay, so first of all, this has already been drilled and tapped for set screws, for set screw blank adapters. I'll probably show you what I do with these later on, but it's already been drilled and tapped. This helps create your pressure in order to cycle the action. You will have holes through the middle of this. It cannot be solid, otherwise you do blow up the gun. But again, I'll show that process in a bit. However, I got this drilled and tapped. My father did it because my lathe is not able to do this kind of work. But anyways, moving on. So with the barrel here, the barrel's the only thing I'm going to be modifying on this. Okay. You have these raised sections and grooves here. This is actually what locks the pistol or the barrel into the pistol. There is corresponding sections inside the slide. We line them up. They're going to be right there. There's corresponding sections inside here that actually lock the barrel and the slide together. So what I have to do, well, what happens is when you're firing a live round, both the barrel and the slide will go back together for a short period, and then they unlock, and the barrel can go back independent of the slide. Let's see if we can see that. So together, and then it drops down. So there's a whole bunch of videos about how the 1911 works in detail, but basically the two go together slightly, and then the barrel drops down and unlocks, allowing the slide to go over top of the barrel. Okay. I have to basically defeat this system and turn it to where it's not locked up at all. The reason why, if I left these in here, I would first of all, I don't even know if it would work with blank with these still here, but second of all, I would probably have to have so much pressure inside the barrel in order to force everything back. It's just going to be unsafe and too loud and too violent on the action. The point of blank adapting, at least my motto, is you want the action to cycle with as least resistance as possible, and as smoothly and as gently as possible. You don't want to put too much wear and tear on the firearm unneededly. So, at least my personal philosophy is smooth out everything. You want the action to cycle very gently and smoothly with the least amount of pressure as possible. So, I have to grind off these lugs here. Yeah, I have to grind them off. I have my bench grinder. So I've got my bench grinder. I'm going to have to grind all this off. And then right on this section here, I basically have to grind it to where it'll meet this diameter. I have to ramp it, okay? I've got to go from the lowest notch right there and smooth it out to the top. So, yeah, I'm grinding on a live firearm barrel. Yeah, this is why you got to know what the hell you're doing. Needless to say, hopefully you understand, by defeating this mechanism, this barrel will no longer be able to be used for live firing of live ball ammunition. That's fine. That's why I have a spare barrel, and I'm not touching the one that's in it already. So this will be my blank-only barrel, and it will never see a live round again. Shout out to Mr. Garrison, who traded me for this barrel. It is a used, junky, shot-out barrel. It's going to live its life as blanks. Cool. So I've got to grind that off. Sometimes I also need to, or sometimes you also need to modify this area. With 1911 pistols, there's also a link. It looks like a figure 8. Sometimes you use it, sometimes you don't. It just depends on your pistol. The guide that I'm using for this is actually published by the 90th Infantry Division Preservation Group, IDPG. They have an excellent kind of informational section about how to blank adapt. Again, I can't tell you to go do this. I'm encouraging you not to do this, but that is the guide that I am using by the 90th IDPG, that group, on the process that I'm doing. So, first steps first is going to be grinding these two lugs off and then ramping this so it meets the diameter here. It'll make sense here in a second. So I'm going to shut everything down and reposition, and we'll go from there. Okay, I know the angle is not ideal. What's ideal is that I can work, and secondary is that the camera's here. Alright, proper PPE. I have on my work vest, ear pro, eye pro, and gloves. This can get a little sparky, and I don't want anything flying into my eyes. And I already have probably tinnitus, the nice lovely ringing in my ears, so I don't want any more of that. So I will probably speed this up at some point, because it's going to be a boring process. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm getting better with filming. at least with editing and understanding how things work. So getting better with that. Hopefully it leads to better film quality. This will get hot, so I'm going to take my time, going to stop and go and all that good stuff. So I'm going to shut up and start grinding. I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore. And it'll be probably time lapse. So, all right. That's it already. Okay, so here is where we stand at. Locking lugs are gone. I've contoured that a little bit. This is not even close to being done. I'm going to finish up everything and smooth that out with Dremels. I got a lot more control that way. Again, the goal is just make everything smooth and then taper up to the main chamber here. Alright, so time to Dremel. Again, just going to be smoothing all this out. It's going to be a time lapse. Again, I may cut the video and cut straight to the end because it's more important that I'm getting this done, more important than you seeing it. So, still got all the PPE. Okay, time for the first test fit. So this is what we look like so far. And pretty smooth. Actually, it's not really pretty smooth. What I need to do, what I'm trying to do right now is find out where it's actually hitting inside the slide. So how I'm going to accomplish this, I'm going to take my, I'm going to take my barrel, no longer a barrel now, and then I'm going to cover it in Sharpie mark. And the goal is, when I put it in the slide and cycle the action, I'll be able to see scratch marks that tells me where it is binding on the slide. Blue Dicom is actually specifically made to do this. I don't have any. Sharpie is perfectly fine as well. Okay, so got that. Let's put it in the pistol, which I'm going to do off camera because I think that's one of the things that YouTube hates, is when you actually show things happening with firearms. And through magic, we're done. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Cycled a whole bunch. Okay, that should be good. Okay, again, through the magic of editing, I'm going to disassemble this. Side note, when you're taking out the front plunger that is under spring pressure, be sure that doesn't launch across camp. You know who you are. Okay, so here it is, what we got. So there's a couple marks right up there, a couple marks there. So those are scrape marks. Basically all I'm going to do now is just grind those away and then repeat the process until it doesn't mark, and then I'll actually take it out and fire it with blanks and see how we go. Okay, took it out for its first test firing. So a couple things that I want to point out is up here where it is drilled and tapped for the set screws, for the set screw blank adapters. Focus. Really? There it is. Okay. So how I make the set screws is I just take normal set screws wherever I have an undrilled one at. And of course it's not here in easy reach. So I just take normal set screws and drill them to different size depending on the blanks I'm using. So I just drill at the center. I'll probably have a video of how I make those. But anyways, so but that needs to be drilled and tapped, threaded. It had actually bulged right here, so it was not able to actually slide inside of the slide. It was getting caught up on the bushing, so it needs to slide pretty freely. Even now it's got a little bit of a catch, but I don't think it's going to be enough to be a problem. So anyways, that had bulged out from drilling and tapping, so I actually had to chuck this thing up in a small lathe and actually ran a file across this while it was spinning, as well as sandpaper. So something to be aware of. Okay, so the first test shots, it did not cycle. It went off, but it did not cycle. What's going on is, right here you can see the slide is impacting the barrel and actually creating these nice deep ridges. I don't see much damage to the slide. There's really, it's basically, come on, focus, there we go. It's hitting right there. That's what's gouging the barrel. It'll be fine for live fire. That's not going to be a big problem when I swap back. But it is gouging the blank barrel. So it's just going to take more sandpaper and a Dremel to actually smooth that out. So it is what it is. It's just going to be a lot of trial and error and taking it out to the range and testing it out. Yeah, that is some significant gouging. There is slightly the worry that this is kind of a thin-walled thing, and there's a worry of getting too thin on it. That's why, again, this is not a how-to. This is I want this video to be, for people to look at this video and go, yeah, I don't want to do that, I'm going to take it to a professional. So, don't do this yourself, okay? I believe there are several companies that are making blank adapters, or blank adapted barrels already ready to go drop in for 1911. So buy one of those. I've just done this a couple times, so I'm going to do this to my own pistol. So a couple more work, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll get a video of it actually shooting once it's done. So thanks for watching. Alright, still test firing, still working out the kinks, but I think I knew, through working with other pistols, with other blank barrels, I already knew this. But I just kind of rediscovered it, I guess would be the word, and realized how important it is. So on the live fire barrel, this, first of all, at least on my pistol, I'm not going to use the link, because one of the key things for the blank barrel to work is that it needs to cam down, needs to tilt down as quick as possible. In order for the slide not to slam into the barrel up on the hood here. So the barrel has to cam down as quick as possible. It's a tilting barrel action. So I'm not going to use the link. And I think one of the other key points is right here. Get the barrel, that barrel link. This is the live barrel. But right here is going to be where the pin, frame latch pin, slide latch pin, this doohickey, it rides like so. So it'll rotate around like that. So I'm not using the link pin, but still there is this shelf and this ramp surface here that the pin has to cut across and then come down, and that allows the barrel to tip down. It's gonna come, basically the barrel's got to come out far enough and then it'll tilt down. On the blank barrel, I've kind of cut away this surface. You can kind of see the difference between here and here. I'm getting rid of this area here and making it a steeper angle. That way it's reducing the time that the barrel actually has to go backwards in order for it to start going down. Working the slide with this in this new configuration, this barrel tilts down extremely fast. Basically, just as soon as the slide starts to move, the barrel starts to tilt down. So I think it's going to be one of the key moments, or one of the key parts of this. So again, I just ground down this section here. Just ground that down. So the pin doesn't, basically the pin doesn't have to go as far forward on the barrel. It can almost immediately start going down and allowing the barrel to tilt down. Kind of hard to show outside the gun, but hopefully this is one of the key parts. So keep on testing.